Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. I just thought I'd make a short movie about the full moon that it's on today or tonight, right? On Friday, the 31st of October, and this full moon is in Taurus at 8 degrees 38 minutes, and it is conjoining, so very close with the planet Uranus. And it would be lovely if you could see in your own astrological chart, if you have a chart, to check where Taurus, what house Taurus occupies in your chart. Taurus is a beautiful, earthy, sign, and it's the fixed modality, so it's fixed earth, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. And it's a sign that is really responsible for resources and how we distribute those resources. Whereas Taurus, which is Scorpio, which is the opposite sign to Taurus, is the sign that is responsible for recycling those resources. So we have fixed earth in Taurus, and in opposition, fixed water in Scorpio. And this Scorpio axis is really important because Sun obviously is in Scorpio right now, Moon is in Taurus, because that's when we have full moon, when the Sun is in opposition to the Moon. And when the Sun is in conjunction with the Moon, we have the new moon, because we can't really see the Moon because of the light of the Sun. Taurus is a sign, a kind of area of life in your personal chart, often is responsible for finances, is responsible for stability and feeling safe. It is responsible for your values, what you value in life. It's also responsible for, how you value yourself and how you value your work. So, for example, if your self-worth is not that great, you often might undervalue yourself, so not get paid enough for your work, not value whatever you have to offer enough. And sometimes Taurus, because it's fixed earth, so when you think of this quality of fixity, can be quite stubborn and can be attached to things, to security, to safety. So sometimes it might be hard to take some risks on to start things, but usually when Taurus people start doing things, they keep going, they have this perseverance and stubbornness to finish stuff. When Taurus moon, full moon in general, is quite an intense, energetically intense happening, celestial happening, so in any sign. In Taurus, usually it's a beautiful kind of grounded energy to the full moon. It gives us this sense of fullness, right? When we can enjoy things. Taurus is a very sensual sign. It's very connected to physical elements, to the senses. So it's a lovely usually time to experience, smelling the roses, taking the break, enjoying life, enjoying pleasurable things in life, and finding simple pleasures, ordinary pleasures, and be okay and happy with them. When the moon conjoins Uranus, Uranus is the revolutionary of the zodiac. It was discovered by humans during the French Revolution. It was discovered during technological revolution. So the full moon, already very intense, energetically charged celestial happening, conjoins another quite intense and unpredictable planet. This full moon can feel a very unusual. It is also a blue moon, because we already had one full moon in October, at the very beginning of October. So this is the second full moon in a month, and we call it the blue moon then. So this particular conjunction of the moon, fullness of the moon, charged by the light of the sun, and Uranian quality, which is, as I said, unpredictable, but also very strongly connected to Prometheus, which, he brought light to the humanity despite that the gods didn't want it. So it's a revolutionary energy. So we can watch the world for all the signs of revolution against tradition, revolution against stubbornness, revolution against something that was, you know, Taurus is connected to the Hierophant, to the Pope, something that tradition keeps kind of wanting to throw upon people, but doesn't realize that times change and the tradition has to stay also flexible to the extent so that people who, you know, want to follow it can do it without feeling like they back in Middle Altars. So this revolutionary Uranus is actually in Taurus for the next few years, and it's an interesting one to watch for. And this full moon, just observe how the earth can be shaken, you know, and how in your own life things that maybe are a little bit, I don't want to say dead, but something that is, you know, kind of normal, nothing, usually you don't pay attention too much to these things, they can be shaken as well. And take stock and be happy with what you have, be grateful for what you have. And Taurus and Scorpio axis is also really beautiful because Taurus really can learn from Scorpio to look below the surface and to view life as the changing flow of ebbs and flows. Taurus rather likes sometimes to float over the surface, you know, just enjoying good foods, enjoying just simple stuff. Scorpio is the opposite. It likes to go deep. It's not really interested much with the surface. But then Scorpio can also learn from Taurus to take a break, to enjoy simple things in life, not to always expect everything to be, you know, deep and dark, and life doesn't always have to be meaningful at all times. So these two signs and this axis will be present for us during the next, you know, at least few weeks to the new moon that's coming. Also, when I spoke with April, and you can watch her interview with me my interview with her on the Inspired Tarot Map, April McMurtry, and we were talking about the moon. And if you use any type of lunar calendars, just take a look at the date of 23rd of April, because this was new moon in Taurus. It's kind of around 6 months ago. And check for yourself, if you planted any seeds then, what have you been doing then? It was it was kind of a lockdown, I think, at least in Poland, that was lockdown time. And I remember I was studying a lot and learning a lot and kind of working a lot, actually. So now it's the kind of 6 months later, the full moon of that new moon seeds. So see if maybe if you had worked over the next 6 months a lot, maybe now is the time to celebrate, like for myself, to, you know, take stock, to enjoy, to slow down, and see for yourself if there was anything that you remember that you were doing 6 months ago. And also because Taurus is very sensual, very connected to physical element, to the senses, I thought I'm going to also do like this little spread that we can, you can do at home, or you can, you know, practice. We can do it together. So I'm going to use Thoth deck. And for the fire element, I thought I'm going to just ask, what brings me joy now? So what can bring me joy, or what brings me joy at this moment for this lunation? And I pulled Queen of Cups from Thoth. This is a very kind of, it's interesting, I don't know, it's Halloween is coming, but she feels a little bit ghostly to me. But Queen of Cups, what brings me joy? Really being at the water. I think about it every day, that I'm at the sea right now and so enjoying it. And I love that she's got this heron here and the lotus flower and the vessel, and that there's this reflective quality. So I think when I look at this card just purely intuitively, to me, the reflection, watching my emotions, I'm really listening to a lot of mindfulness books right now. It's kind of coming back like this, and this watery quality, the softness and gentleness, that brings me joy right now. Also, you know, anything to do with like psychic development and discovering maybe also, you know, kinesthetic feelings or kinesthetic hints while I do readings. And for the water element, I thought, what did I write here? What am I magnetizing? You know how water is like very magnetic, right? So especially around the full moon, be aware of what are you magnetizing towards yourself. You know, where is your energy at? Where in your body is like, are you, you know, what are you projecting out there and what are you drawing towards yourself? So what am I magnetizing? And here I have for myself, I pulled the Magus, so magician, and this one seems very happy, right? Very mercurial, in some way, like throwing all this stuff around. So in this particular case, first of all, I don't know, there's this Caduceus as well, the snakes, and the little arrow that what kind of catches my attention. Like he is looking at that arrow that maybe he just threw out there. So somehow I think what I'm magnetizing is my pureness of creativity. I am magnetizing like a little goal that I would like to achieve. And it's Taurus, right? It's a sign of manifestation. It's a sign of creating bounty. It's a sign of building and molding and, you know, mixing and creating and working on something, even if it takes time. And this Mercury kind of, the kind of Mercury shoes, to me also, I always love to learn, right? So I'm also, I think, magnetizing this mercurial curiosity, openness, willingness to make things happen. That's such a contrast between these two cards. So for earth element, I wrote, where can I be more present? So Taurus's motto could be stop and smell the roses. So, you know, whenever you can, stop and smell the roses. And remember from my other video to answer the question, what is not wrong in your life right now? But this is where can I be more present? So I pulled 3 of Swords, right? So we look at the element here. It is Swords element, so it's air element. And so I could be more present in my thoughts, in my mind. And we know that 3 of Swords usually points towards quite critical mind or quite doubtful, anxiety-ridden, kind of hurting mind, right? That's, yeah, good advice, right? So look at my thoughts and look at what am I creating with my thoughts, and how many maybe of my thoughts are unconscious, or I'm not present to what I am truly thinking. And we know that thoughts are creating our reality. So the last element is air, and I asked, what can I focus on? Prince of Discs. So here we have the bull, and I love it because it's such a Taurian, right? Taurian sign. Also a very powerful sign of the goddess. Here we have this, you know, it looks a little bit like a charioteer, right? It's got this massive chariot and holds, which seems to be like an earth or an atom in his hands. So it's very creative and it's very steady, and I feel it's very perseverant. So what to focus on? I think focus on a stamina or patience to develop whatever I am magnetizing to myself right now, right? So I've got this magnetism going on with the magician, but to really develop this thing, whatever it is, I know what it is, but you know, you have to do it for yourself. I've got to be wary and watch my thoughts, because this is where I can be more present too, where I cannot see things clearly or even block you know, this development. But Prince of Discs can have perseverance. It likes to follow the idea and develop it into manifestation, into the world of form and matter. And I'm going to pull one card from Forest of Precious Twigs and also from Wisdom Oracle, because I mixed both of those decks. And because this is Taurus, because it is so body conscious, it is a sign that you know, calls for mindfulness. It calls for being present to what's happening in the body. It calls for slowing down. It calls for enjoying and finding pleasure in little things. Let's see what advice the cards. Oh, I love her. So she's one of the quite happy one. I don't know, in here she reminds me of Południca, you know, like a dancing Slavic deity. And yeah, she brings some shift, but it's joyous shift, right? A joyous movement. And it says, I dance with the joyous spirit of life as I remember who I am. So the present moment, remembrance, and dancing with the spirit of life. So I hope this video was fun. If you do the spread, please let me know. I'm going to write the questions in the description box below, and maybe let's use a tag tarot map full moon, and then you can guys do a VR or share in the spreads that you do on Instagram or in the comments. Well, I wish you all the best, happy full moon, and let's speak soon. Bye.